My new boyfriend has his hands on my surrogate bump all the time. It is upsetting my sister, but I found out that it is a kink, and I'm unsure if I should break up with him. I agreed to be a surrogate for my sister Nadia and her husband due to an unfortunate high likelihood of infertility diagnosis in my sister. They didn't have the funds to hire an actual surrogate, and I am basically the only person they're actually close with who has a child, meaning I was essentially their only option. I didn't love the idea at first, but after watching them struggle to conceive for the last 2 years and some light insistence from my sister, I said okay. They did agree to pay me some form of compensation, but from Googling it seems like it's maybe 30% of what it would normally cost. Anyway, fast forward to today and I am 7 months along and all have gone realistically pretty well. My sister has always been checking in on me, but I can't blame her for that. But the problem occurred a couple of days ago. So a couple of months ago I met a guy at a work event and we hit it off. He has a couple of kids of his own, so he doesn't mind anything about my situation and it's been going really well. Now that we've been together for a couple of months, I wanted to introduce him to my sister, so I set up dinner for the 3 of us. My sister picked me up and drove me over since he was going to meet us there, and as soon as I got in the car, I already felt like she was upset but didn't think anything of it. We sat down at the restaurant and waited until C arrived. He came over, greeted us, gave me a kiss, and quickly rubbed my belly. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but I could see my sister's eyes bulge. I was super confused but didn't say anything about it. We went about our night and she played nice-ish, but was pretty quiet, and honestly, it was a pretty awkward meal. When we left and I got back in the car, she just unloaded into me, saying how weird it was that he kept touching my belly. I asked her what the hell she was talking about, and she said that apparently, he basically had his hands on it the whole night and also that it was super weird because it's her baby. I just rolled my eyes and told her regardless of it being her baby it was my body, which just made her even more mad. I don't know. She hasn't talked to me in the last 2 days over this. I really don't feel like she has any right to police physical intimacy between me and my boyfriend just because it's her baby I'm carrying. Like, look, I'm pregnant, and I have a boyfriend. Obviously, he is going to touch my bump. Edit, baby is not biologically mine. It's her and her husband's. I'm a gestational surrogate. Also, maybe I undersold it in my initial description, but he did touch it a lot more than just when he greeted us. He had his hand on it the whole time we weren't eating. I didn't think anything weird about it, but figured I'd clarify. Update 1 month later, on the sister front, all is well. We talked it over very shortly after my post, some complicated emotions we had to work through, but we're in a good place now. It is too long to get into here, but I can tell you on this front it was a happy ending, and she is very excited to meet her baby next month. Boyfriend update, this one went a little differently. There were a lot of people in the comments suggesting he had a pregnancy fetish, which previous to my post I didn't even know existed. I pondered on it but wasn't really sold on the idea, and coincidentally he actually went on a work trip for about 3 weeks shortly after, so we didn't really talk until he came back to town, which was about a week and a half ago now. Honestly, when he came back, I'd almost, forgotten about that as a possibility, so when I went to see him for the first time in nearly a month at his apartment, he instantly lifted my shirt and told me how much bigger I'd gotten. I didn't think anything of it. He was right, I did grow a lot, and it seemed like a normal enough reaction, but looking back on it now, it wasn't even like he hugged me, greeted me, or gave me a kiss, it was just straight away right to my bump. We ended up getting dinner with one of my friends later that same night, again me still in some form of either denial or just inattention. I guess just like the last time, I didn't really notice his behavior being weird, but when he went home and I went with her to her house, she had some questions similar to my sister. Is that not exhausting for you? She asked me, which I was just confused by. All the belly touching and rubbing, and the comments and the jokes and stuff? She followed up with me, it doesn't seem too irregular to me. People make jokes and comments to me all the time, even you do her. Sure, I'll make one now and then, but in a 1-hour dinner he made so many. Like he described you as his overinflated girlfriend, something about being ready to pop, something else about a balloon, and I know there were others I'm forgetting. Hearing it now from my sister, and my friend, it finally kinda clicked for me that maybe in fact everyone else was right. I had her drop me at his place, and I confronted him about it. Not in, an aggressive way or anything, but just asked him if it was true. To my surprise, he looked at me in surprise, and just said, "Oh yeah, I thought you knew." Sorry, I thought it was kind of obvious. We had a long talk about it. I don't really think a fetish is an inherently bad thing, and people like to make them more taboo than they need to be. While his behavior was obviously sometimes strange, it was never violent or honestly even upset me. I told him I would think about continuing to see him, which he was okay with, and he gave me space. I haven't reached out to him yet, but I am thinking about it, as I did enjoy the time we spent together even, regardless of his inclinations. Anyway, those are the updates, hope you enjoyed the happy and sort of happy ending for both.